here are some pros and cons of a studio. One of the realities about shooting too much in a studio is that you miss real-life locations that you already have access to. As I started to create a lot of videos, whether it was at my office or at my home or outside or at a co-working space, every location that I was in was acting like a studio. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to have an anchor studio at my home office that I can use anytime I want to. But it took a lot of time to get to that point. I didn't feel like that was a necessity until I realized that I was recording several videos every single day in many different formats, and that it was actually going to make my life easier. The great thing about shooting out and about with locations is that video makes them look cool, whether it's the mall or a cafe or the Pacific Design Center. I think one of the last things that people should do is to get a studio just out of vanity because it kind of looks cool or feels cool. I think it has to come from a need where you're constantly creating content.
We're recording 72 questions and answers in 72 hours.
Produce 11 videos in one day. Fully controlled lighting situation. So whether I want to record a podcast video or a tutorial video or just a recorded conversation using Zoom or Skype, I could do so in a controlled, comfortable environment.
I'm the only person on this train right now. Making the journey to Ruben's new studio, just taking the train from LA. Whenever there's a chance to ride a train, I'll take that chance. Remote work is a theme, I think, for the new decade. The internet is just so much easier to work remotely. And of course, Dub is a great tool to have the right tool set to make it all work, sending videos, keeping that communication flow as efficient and productive as possible. We found that actually fewer meetings can mean higher productivity.
That's a whole day. This would be awesome, man.
Ooh.
99 cents. Started to shop around at Home Depot and I saw what some of the options were, and they kind of looked a little bit contrived, a little bit fake. I wasn't about to put real bricks in the office. Speaking of studio environment, I'm in a studio environment right now, and I've kind of really streamlined the process. Hey Alexa, turn the studio on. So that's just like an instant thing for me. You know, I'm a little bit lazy. I like to have pretty easy things. So I don't necessarily care too much for the highly produced studio situation. I prefer for something a lot more minimal.
After 2 months in your office, looking back, pros and cons.
After 2 months of setting up this space, definitely feeling a lot more productive. I think what's really interesting is that it's not just always about making videos, it's about making content. So whether it's writing or whether it's having real-time calls or whether it's screen videos or of course making properly produced videos. So it's kind of a flexible space. I don't necessarily connect with this idea of we need to go to a studio to shoot this. We need to go to a conference room. Why can't we just do it right at our desk? So even if there's sound around you, even if the light is not amazing, there's a lot of different things that you can do. It's a lapel mic or a podcast mic like this. There's a lot of things that you can do to actually work within your space and then actually just kind of adapt into that. The cons, I mean, obviously it is an investment.
Technology has progressed so far that you can really be anywhere. Like when you're ready to scale, probably good to get a dedicated creation area.
I think if you are going to create support articles or how-to guides or YouTube videos or personalized videos that you can send to prospects, I think it makes sense to have a creation space, something that you feel comfortable with. I think a creation space or a productivity space, it has to adapt around the specific needs of the person, like whatever their goals are, whatever their function is, whatever they're doing on a daily basis.
So yeah, your creative space is wherever you feel most comfortable and whatever's feasible. Feasibility is definitely a part of it.
We're actually at the Starbucks here getting our daily coffee, actually tea, and we learned that they have a conference room that they actually rent out. It's $50 for 2 hours, and it's got a screen here, and it's got a nice conference table and tons of USB plugs. And anyone can rent it and they can use it for meetings or recording video. We are recording a sales video in a coffee shop and having a lot of fun doing so.
It's partitioned from the rest of the Starbucks. We just saw this and we just went up and asked the barista, hey, can you rent this? Is this a WeWork? No, lounge space, a lot of outlets, big table, screen. So, along the lines of my personality-driven brands, I started a TikTok.